once, only once, you get the opportunity to make the right decision. Watch the news cycle. You kind of get ultra bullish news. I mean, not just one thing going bullish, but almost everything going bullish. There's a lot of different news coming into the market saying, okay, what? This is perfect for the crypto market. I mean, do you agree? I do. But now I come into the market and I'm looking at the market. This is one of the assets out there, Solana, on a weekly chart. Do you notice the price going up or you see it going down? Cool. Now we go pick up the momentum for Bitcoin, which dictate the market. Do you see that going up or down? Just look at last candle. You can kind of answer that question easily. Now, this is exactly where you have to put things on the perspective and watch. Are you making a top by showing similar candles like before, similar patterns like before, or are you about to blow through the roof like a lot of people are selling out there in the market? So honesty is going to be the biggest tool which you guys will need from those who provide data. Now let's pick the right data and right information so that you don't miss things out, because if you do, you don't have another opportunity to make that right decision. Remember, making that right decision, it's a one-time chance. After that, it's a clear improvisation. Now, there are people who do that to the perfection, but yeah, they miss the top, but they still make it good out of the cycle. If you want to be one of them, you need to make the right decisions at least now. So, if you want to make sure you get all these updates at the right time, be a part of the Scientific Investor family, where you get all these charts, all these updates, the right information, so that you don't miss out on what the crypto market is about to do. Now, live here in the video, I want to ask you something. You know, it's 19th of this month, yeah? So that means in another 10 days, you're going to see a lot of volatility coming into the market, preparing you guys for the monthly close. Now, honestly, when you do look at that monthly close, you need to put things into perfection, yeah? That one candle, if it turns red, you get another negative divergence on a monthly. Cool. Now we zoom in on a weekly, and what do you notice? If that 1 week come down and close like this, a lot of people would remove that fuse, saying, the war changed everything. So it's up to you what you do. You do, but remember, exit liquidity is not there in the market, and I want to reassure you this fact. When there is no exit liquidity and the whales want to exit, the price drops substantially. I mean, substantially. You go back here in the recent past, look at what happened in Jan, Feb, March. Yeah, this is where we are. You can see the peak in November. Yeah, after that, you did not get a lot of these exit liquidity. And in Feb and in March, you didn't have those peaks. That is one of the primary reasons why the price started dropping from 290 plus all the way down to 90. That's $200 drop in one asset. You see that? So in the general market, if no more retail investors are entering, you don't have the liquidity. They can try pushing the price a little bit up to see, is that worth it? Say they inject 100 billion. Price goes up. A lot of retail follows. The price keep going up. They can now take back profits on the 100 billion and sell the units which they had long term, making double the profits. Good. But they inject 100 billion and still the market doesn't move much, rather it goes down, what should they do? Yeah, that is what the institutions will do. I mean, they have to respond to their shareholders. So the only way they're gonna move things in and around is based on what they can understand. Now, easy things, easily said, is not the perfect thing. Trouble is, you literally have to go into the market, watch what the market is doing, what it may do. It's a mess. It's a mess, honestly. Now, that's why I say go on a weekly chart, look at the direction. Is your MACD crossing back to the upside? Is your MACD at the highest difference? I mean, the opening of that mouth, is it the biggest? Usually, you do make a local reversal at some point where you have the maximum opening for that mouth. Right now, you're not in that territory. You may have one more coming in, which can make a local bottom. Maybe it's 1.2, maybe it's 1.5, maybe it's $1. I don't know. But you can kind of see the argument. Now, this is a weekly chart for XRP. Now, put that trend line there and ask yourself, where exactly did all of these big drops which you saw in the history come in to this market? Yeah, look at the RSI. It kind of started just at that point. It went deeper after that. Now we come look at this. It started after that point and went deeper after that. Ooh, I'm not trying to scare you guys. I want you guys to know what exactly happened in the past and be prepared for that. Now, pick another asset, say XLM. Yeah, this is in front of you. You're watching these supports. All of those things are right. Now, for this particular asset, now let's remove the futures for that. We're not trading it anymore. We are here. Yeah, we pick the long-term ones. We're looking at these. Does the structure abide by this? No, it's getting invalidated. MACD, rather than crossing to the upside with a shift in Bitcoin, is now pushing you to the downside. So the direction is changing. You will have to wait for a reversal at some point, but we are not sure if it's going to come right now or if it's going to come back here at some of these levels where the price may drop another 50%. So you zoom in, you're looking at a weekly chart and the RSI is already close to 45. So let's plot it and see where exactly the big drops start in this asset. You can go back as long as you want and see. When you're flirting with the moving average for some time and then it starts dropping, the level where the price started panicking is 41. You see that? 41.48. Good. So now where are you? 45.9. Okay, very, very close. Yeah. Okay, the next time when we went for that panic event, where were you? Just below 42. Okay, it's that cycle. Let's look at the next cycle in here. You were around 47. Oh, that's very close to where we are now. So don't be surprised. All of this is to say, even if you go back another 5 year, another 10 year, you kind of get the idea wherever you drop like these in the panic mode, it's most likely close to your historical move itself. So that simplifies things. Say you pick up Bitcoin for that matter. This is like the long-term chart of Bitcoin on a weekly chart. Each and every time when the price drops, it gives you few signals, yeah? One of that, starting from that 2017 cycle, is that this region of 62 on a weekly for RSI has been acting as a strong support. Now think about it. Oh, let me correct. It's 52, not 62, acting as a support. Right now you're at 62 and you have room to drop till 52 at least to say, I'm taking the support. But if you break that, that is where the history shows you be cautious. That was a 50% drop the moment you broke that. Whoa, boom. That was hard. And you never went back above it, so the price kept going down. Now, here you are, you broke below that 30% drop, you retested and faked out, boom, 50% drop. Now again, you look at this, the moment you cross this line to the downside, the next few weeks, within a month, the price dropped 50%. Now, what's the trouble? It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen over a week. It took 3-4 weeks to play out. So when someone calls that out right now, it may feel literally crazy, stupid, anything you want to describe. But the moment it plays out, now you know what the chart was actually highlighting. This is where you go on a monthly chart and ask the question, okay, are we at the junction of a reversal where we are making this kind of a top? If so, you're going to barely get a red candle here, then boom, a continuation. Now watch assets like this. This is a weekly, right? There's no confusion on it. The weekly RSI right now stands at 45. So if you do plot a line where you are now, and then look back at the history, you kind of see, okay, last time when we reached here, within 3 weeks, there was boom, price dropping 50%. When you retested that and dropped, the price dropped, substantially. I didn't actually measure that before. I thought it was 70%, but it looks deeper. Let me see. Oh yeah, 80%. You see that? So right now when you go below this, anticipate if you missed compounding the profits from XRP, you barely made it, or you lost 5-10%. These are going to be the things like that where you want to look at to get a 50% compounding, 80% compounding, and depending on the liquidity. Say you have a $10 million portfolio and you're going to put it in a 3x. And different exchanges, they have different liquidity, but for some of these assets, you won't have the liquidity to exit at the right time. So make sure you go for the highest liquidity asset. Maybe it's Bitcoin, maybe it's Ether. And if the value is smaller, say below $100,000, then yeah, obviously Solana asset like this can be a good one because the liquidity you need to exit is not that big and you need to pick the right exchange. If not, it's going to be a crazy deal. So don't go for that. Now, watch when you put this on a monthly, what do you notice? Remember, we only have like another 10-11 days for the monthly candle close. If this acts as a continuation pattern like this, you know what that means, right? Yeah, this month doesn't have to be a big bleeding month. It can just drop the average movement, and that's what? 40%. And some people would ask, whoa, is that the average drop? Yeah, because the panic looks like 60% sometimes. The panic looks like 70% sometimes. So after each of these drops, you still have another 50% down, another 50% down, another 50% down. Yeah? So if you do get that 40, 50, 60% and step out with a micro bullish divergence, you really get different opportunity to re-enter and short the market. Let me go through that. I want you guys to be precise. I don't want you guys to make a mistake. Now, watch. Here, it's so basic. It's so easy. You got rejected in here. You tested and got rejected there. So now you know you're not going to breach that. And any rejection at that point is going to give you enormous profit. Fine. So how do you notice this? This is your base at that point. Now, if you add your RSI at that point, you can see this. The RSI went very high, but the price did not. The price was down. That's a hidden bearish divergence. Yeah, that kind of showed you that. Okay, fine, good. If you took that, you made another 50%. That is how the market treats you. Now, that's a 3-day chart. When you start zooming into all of these using multiple data, you now know something. Yeah, if you were on the daily, this was a negative divergence already. So you were already shorting at this point, if not at this point. Yeah, so you were already in around 46. The price started dropping. You're still holding in a belief that this is going to break. And it did. The moment it does break those support region, it's going to be a panic, shake, blah, blee, blue. Yeah, it's going to happen. At some point, it's going to happen. But the patience you needed to see after entering that shot That was massive. Think about that. This is a 3-day chart. Say you picked up at the right time and you still had to wait for another 84 days. Yes, in the meantime, you're in profit. Yes, in the meantime, you're in a decent profit. But for that decent profit to become a great profit in a shorting market side, that took another 90 days. So consolidation is going to be a part of the equation. And when you come into this, you have to first ask, okay, how long till this happen? Yeah. So from this particular point, if you count, you already got some drops. So we pick the bottom and say, okay, we already passed 15 days. So you still have a decent way for the market to be choppy, the market to attract liquidity and then slaughter them. So let's not be a part of that slaughterhouse. Rather, let's be a part of that popcorn house who watches all that slaughter on the TV and say, that was a good move. Yeah, the whales, they're playing well. Let me vote for the whales. Yeah, those kind of things are going to come in, but not now. Majority may not see that right now because they do not care about the momentum side of the equation. This is where things usually go wrong. One of the easy basic thing you have to do is count the number of candle and the percentage fluctuation. That's it. It's so easy. If you have 10 candles to the upside moving 10+% and you have 10 candles to the downside moving 5%, okay, the momentum is to the upside. Basics. If you have 10 candles to the upside moving 5% and 2 candles to the downside moving 5%, now you know momentum changed. So here, look at this. Each impulse in here is giving you that idea. When you're green, until you turn red, how much did you go? How long was that? Yeah, it's easy. It's the easiest way to analyze the market. Did things change? Yeah, 1 green candle, 1 red candle, blah, blah, blah. Then again, few green candles and 2 red candles. Immediately after that, you got 2 green candles and a lot of red candles. Then it shows you, yeah, look, I'm doing way more than the green guys in a shorter period of time. That's called momentum. So whales are slowly shifting. Now, yes, that's a daily chart. So you have to slowly zoom in to see how it's evolving on a 3-day chart, on a weekly chart. So here, right now, we're still early. We are watching it on a 3-day chart. The moment you get the first weekly close in red, understand it's that time where there's going to be a lot of people who are trading momentum. They're going to shift that momentum side of the equation. They're going to slowly turn around. And that is where you start to see more and more momentum coming in. So all the good news in the world is entering, trying to bring in more and more and more people into the market. And then, but it's not happening right now. Yeah, you're with this family. You have the right data in front of you. You're taking the right decision. If you're negative 10%, 20%, and you want to hold it down till negative 90%, yes, you're a long-term holder with a lot of patience. At this point, I don't. So that's why I closed just above break even, little barely green on the compounding effect, preserving the original profits we took. Because when the price drops another 50%, it would make a lot of judgment to go back into the right asset. Maybe in 6 months, maybe in 12 months, maybe in 15 months. But in the meantime, you get a 50% drop and a 50% drop, a 50% drop, a 50% drop. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So be stress-free. Make sure you ride it, because right now I can see things which changed in me in last 4 years. It's all turning gray. There's a lot of patches coming. The hair is falling off. I mean, stress, that cortisol level, you don't want that, guys. Now at this point, you don't want that. It's time to sit back, relax, go through little amount of charts with the highest liquidity to short. Yeah, don't go against the market. When the market is reversing, don't go against it. Now, when I say when the market is reversing, it's very easy again. Pick your race horse clearly. You kind of get to see each local top being formed one after another, one after another. Yeah, the liquidity, the supply zone, the demand zone, it's visible in front of you. You only have to take the decision based on that. Now, when you see, okay, they can't break it this time, what they usually do is to do a bounce like this. A lot more people come in to buy, boom, they break it down. Yeah, this is why you see a lot of these breaks to the downside happening just after that. Now think about the opposite. A lot of these breaks to the upside comes after a pump to the downside, a drop to the downside, and then pump. Yeah, they needed liquidity for that. You understand? So just like that, when you want to go down, you first pump, attract liquidity, and then squeeze them down. In micro, in macro, all of these horizons, they're going to play the exact same game. We want to make sure we don't fall into those traps. So if you understood something and you want to join the family to get more value and your portfolio, you want to preserve that, it's the best time. If you received value, you know what to do. Smash the like button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.